coming to you live from deep within an icy, radioactive meme-lam. Actually, windy and wet and sort of muddy now, but it's still really miserable. We are the survivors of the alt-right Kekpocalypse, the few, the brave, the bitchy, once more wading into battle. Rantzerker 81. New York Mag talks shit about us and a bunch of other people. Sorry for the progressive series of delays, but we don't have deadlines here. We have undead lines. You know, deadlines that have been raised from the dead or something. That was lame.
The whole zombie thing, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, here's what's what. We'll do this Rantzerker till the air horn blares out the hour, and then we'll adjourn to a patron-only after show for the patrons only. If you want to join us at that time, the link is www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. We'll be covering everything we didn't manage to get to in the first hour, which may end up being New York Meg's take on the alt-right totems, and also alt-right transhumanism, which is a thing now, apparently. Just a warning, we'll be covering an abridged version, so you can get the full version in the link in the low bar below, for transparency's sake. And we're doing the abridged version because the article was well symbolized by its illustrating visual. If you recall, it was some sort of serial killer pegboard with strings linking various people. It was this article was an incoherent, rambling mess with a sinister undercurrent of menace.
When did the right wing get so bizarre? Consider, for a brief and confusing moment earlier this year, milk somehow became a charged symbol of both white supremacy and support for Donald Trump.
Okay. Do these people not realize who they're dealing with?
No.
Right? Like, they're dealing with the milk and the bacon and the remove kebab and
the OK sign.
Yeah, and all of these things, right? These are all coming out of like meme hives like 4chan, right? Where they're literally trying to see if they can top Oprah Winfrey staring into the camera, you know, and saying in the most serious tones ever, they said, we will not forget, we do not forgive, we do not forget, we have over 9,000 penises and they're all raping children. This is what they're trying, like, they are trying to make you make fools of yourselves by suddenly saying, oh my God, you know, milk is now a powerful symbol of white supremacy.
I like that we're, right up with Scott Adams. I actually really appreciate that. Thank you, New York Mag, because I always loved Dilbert. And let's see, we connect off the page to some ambiguous stuff to the left, which I don't know what's supposed to be there. I think that's, nope, those are American flags, so one presumes there might be some fire in the background, but it looks very ominous. So we connect off to some other thing way out there in the subconscious of the New York Mag. And then we also connect to Lana Loktev, a fascist pinup and podcaster who I have never heard of before. And we apparently go over the Nazi furries, who, according to the New York Mag, expert journalism, are furries who are Nazis.
The Third Reich.
That's it. That's in the category basically Nazis, which is a bit like a basic bitch.
Not literally Hitler, though.
No.
We also go over Jack Donovan. That's interesting.
If I had to go over anybody, Jack Donovan, he wouldn't be my first choice, but he'd be on the list. Just saying.
What's interesting is that they're probably right. There is ties to white nationalist and even Nazi groups somewhere in here. Not direct. Like we're not.
It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever, right? So. Yeah,
because I know that I was posting on a Jack Donovan site, and some idiots. This is actually hilarious. So I was posting on the Jack Donovan site, and I said, you know what? you don't have to be Christian to believe in female submission. Not that necessarily that I think that that's relevant, but whatever. And some woman came out of the woodwork and was like, would you like to join our Facebook group? And I'm like, all right, sure. And so I joined their Facebook group, and then this other woman pops out of the woodwork, and she's like, which would you prefer, Jewish or black slaves? And I'm like, I'm not going to answer that question. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because it's immoral to have slaves. And then I suddenly got booted from the group and unfriended by those women. And I'm like, whoa,
That's a little weird. Holy shit.
Yeah, isn't it? It's just bizarre. And
I know it really is like oh, was it Steven Crowder? He said, like every once in a while you meet a genuine racist and they open their mouth and they say something and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought you guys were like mythical creatures. I actually think there's more of a case to be made in terms of bitching about Jews owning everything and being in charge of everything than whites, because when you actually look at the population of Jews, the size of them, and how much scope that they have and how much power and money that they have, right? It's extremely disproportionate. So I actually think that on a statistical basis, there's more of a case to be made that we do have a Jew problem than a white person problem. But I'm not saying that we have either problem, and I don't think that on some levels, on certain levels, I think that it's equally problematic to complain about either one, and how it's unjust that they're in charge and that they own this and that they lead corporations and that they, have representation in the media and that they're politicians and all of this stuff, right? So.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing about Asian representation proportionally, but here's the thing: it's all bullshit. Because guess what? Usually they get it because they earned it.
Well, yeah, and when you look at Asian representation, you're talking about Asian representation in the top percentiles in North America and in Europe, right? There are all of the percentiles in China, right, and in India. And, in Japan, all of the percentiles are represented by Japanese, Chinese, and Indian people there, right? They're not as visible at the top because they're also at the bottom in those places more often, right? And whereas when they come to Western cultures, they tend to do very well, tend to do better than whites in a lot of ways. So
yeah.
Someone says this will be so quote mined. Really?
Yeah,
oh, totally.
This is absolutely.
We have such a Jew problem.
I'm starting to get uncomfortable with this Jew conversation.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
because I mean, then we're gonna end up talking about solutions, and that never works out. Okay, so
right,
let's.
I'm just gonna make a disclaimer for anybody who comes here, quote mined and declared Nazis. I don't believe any of us believe that there is a Jewish problem, an Asian problem, or a white problem, or even a male problem, actually, come to think of it. We don't believe these things. We don't believe them. Right. Maybe Mike does, but
when you tried to fuck with PewDiePie, you just made him more famous. So yeah, fuck the Jews.
In January, the actor Shia LaBeouf mounted an art installation designed to protest the president. The next month, neo-Nazis who organized on the message board 4chan crashed the show, where they started chugging from milk jugs because Northern Europeans digest milk well, or because milk is white. In other words, an innocent dairy beverage as old as time has been conscripted as a Donald Trump surrogate on the internet.
What?
Oh yeah, no. It literally was probably like the white supremacy, white power OK symbol, right? Hand sign, right? It was probably some 4chan dude who suggested that milk is whites are superior because we are not lactose intolerant, right? That means we are more evolved, according to them, right? If you want to get into the nitty gritty of more evolved, bacteria are actually more evolved than we are because they've gone through more generational cycles of improving their DNA. But so apparently somebody decided to spread this idea that the ability to drink milk without farting and having cramps makes whites superior, and so then people just ran with it because it was funny, and then they showed up in front of Shia LaBeouf's He Will Not Divide Us camera installation. I think they were all shirtless or something, or they took all their shirts off.
Yeah.
They all had 4-liter milk jugs, and they're all like, yeah, we're white, we're better than you guys, you black people can't do this, and then they'd start guzzling it and stuff. And it was actually pretty funny.
Anti-Semites and cruel, angry teenagers and conspiracy theorists. And a few fiendishly clever far-right websites and harassing hashtags, and even a U.S. congressman or two, not to mention the White House.
What?
What?
Oh, well, because Trump apparently is also far-right.
Alt-right,
right?
Which is also radical right, or far-right.
Yes.
Even though it's not.
And it's also Nazism.
There are congressmen out there who actually get along with Trump. Right, and therefore they are, also far right, and like they're infiltrating everything.
Moving on.
Yep, and we got swept up in it. It's not that you guys shoved them in the same oubliette you shoved us, and then we just ended up hanging out together, not necessarily because we agreed to that with each other, but because you shoved us into the same fucking jail cell. No. It's because we always deserve to belong in that jail cell. I see how this works.
It's convenient for them.
Well, I know, and it's not because it couldn't, like, men's rights activists swept up in the alt-right. Well, it couldn't possibly be because for the last 40 years the left has completely dismissed, minimized, and suppressed men's issues, and the only ones who were even willing to give us a hearing over the last 10 years have been the right. I mean, Dr. Helen Smith, I didn't see her on a whole lot of left-wing cable news stations. She was interviewed on Fox News when she wrote her Men on Strike book. Right? Like, I don't tend to see most of us being interviewed by left-wing news organizations. We end up on frickin' conservative talk radio and stuff like that. So it's like, if they're the only people who are willing to talk to us and get our message out, then
it's not like we have much choice. Isn't this the side that developed the term Obama Bros?
No, it was Bernie Bros.
Bernie Bros.
No,
Yeah.
they have Obama Bros now. Because there are Democrats who voted for Obama who did not vote for Hillary Clinton. Clinton. Sorry.
Wow, that's
Glittery Hinton.
Are you talking about her sex junk?
It's so
Stop it!
Presuming that Hillary Clinton has sex junk.
Okay, you know what? You guys, I'm
Okay,
going to
they
have to
call us
reboot my
anti-Semites.
speaking device now.
Clockwork Owl writes, these people claiming shit is worse than ever, saying we were on the brisk of a utopian future? Fuck off. Choose something to be wrong about.
Okay.
Thank you, Clockwork Owl.
Well, that things are worse than ever. I mean, that is probably that one statement, and I hear it a lot from people, something similar, right? Like, there's so much violence these days, and the world's just not safe these days. Like, we are safer than we have ever been, right? In the entire history of humanity, your risk of dying violently today, right, is lower than it has ever been in the entire history of the earth, right, of humanity. And what that statement comes from is this 24-hour news cycle. If it bleeds, it leads. And all of these, you know, and it's everything from Trump is such an asshole that he signed a kid's hat and then threw it off into the crowd, right? And they report that as if it's true, when in reality he threw it up into the air and the kid caught it. Okay? Like, but the way they are reporting things, right? They are literally, you have the press saying, the sky is falling, right? Because Trump won. And then you have all of these sheep who watch the news repeating, oh my God, the sky is falling, Trump won, right? The world is worse than ever, and Trump has destroyed our utopia. And it's like, or the new Brave New World that was just around the corner. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I don't even know if everybody on the alt-right seems to be against taxes in general. I think that they just don't want to hand money over to the government because they're forced to, and then see it be handed to some fucking ham beast in a women's studies, you know, department to indoctrinate a bunch of freaking impressionable bubble-wrapped kids of helicopter parents, right, into, like, becoming political activists. Like, I don't think that, you know, $20,000 a year of taxpayer money per student in Canada, it's a little much to pay for getting that return on my investment. I honestly think that immigrants would not be considered a problem by the alt-right if, number one, there was some control over immigration that was done legally, and illegal is not a big problem, or, you know, the flooding of millions of refugees into, you know, Europe was not a thing. Okay, so reasonable immigration, I think that most, even on the alt-right, would have no problem with that. And multiculturalism, right? The expectation that when you come to America or Canada, you will maintain your culture and you will not assimilate and you will not change and you will not adhere to the values of the country that you are now living in, right? You're going to be able to keep all of the shit that was the reason why you left the shithole you left, right? You're gonna drag all that here and you're gonna preserve it, right? And you're gonna try and spread it, right? Because that's what multiculturalism is, right? Not the melting pot that is now called cultural appropriation. Multiculturalism, all cultures separate, everybody segregated in their own little ghetto, right? And nobody talks to each other, right? If we didn't have those two things, this sort of flood of illegal immigrants or the flood of refugees into Europe, right, and the multiculturalism, the lack of expectation that immigrants assimilate or integrate, at least in terms of the broader public aspects of the culture. Do what you want at home, pray to whatever God you want, right? But when you're out in public, get along with everybody else, right? If those things were not there, right, I don't think any alt-righters would have a particular problem with immigration. Yeah. I think that even the ethno-statists, that has risen out of the problems, right? That is a reaction to what they see going on in Europe. It's not something that there would be no ethno-statists if there wasn't this massive flood of millions of people from the Middle East, millions of Muslims into Europe right now.
Donald might be served by sleeping instead of tweeting.
Although, no, I mean, look, the more he tweets, the more the journalists and entertainment industry and fucking academics, they freak out and they're all running to like make him look bad, and it actually makes them look pretty sad. By the time he's put a tweet out, he's forgotten what he said. He's like, I think this is great. It's on my mind. I gotta say something about this. And then he puts in a tweet, and then everyone's like, oh my God, let's go get him. And they put all their energy to it, and they dedicate a fucking sketch to it, you know, and Samantha Bee goes off on a rant, And it's like, you're putting a lot of energy into this. This is what trolling is like somebody putting in very little effort to get maximum reaction out of the people who are freaking out. And I think, I'm not saying Trump's playing 5D chess or anything, but I think that when you
he's
overreact...
certainly doing the low effort shitpost.
Yeah, exactly.
And on top of that, I think it does work. And I don't know that he's playing 4D or 5D chess or whatever, right? Like, I mean, Nick Redding came up with, the idea of the feminist, anti-feminist cooperation spiral, right? Where we apply pressure to them, they lose their fucking minds, right? More people in the non-feminist sector come over to our side, right? And then it just continues on. And every time they lose support from the general public and the general public starts seeing things our way via the Streisand effect or whatever, right? The feminist reaction to us applying pressure to them and their bullshit is to freak out even more, right? And so it just tightens and tightens and tightens until
mention a podcast with 35,000 subscribers, in the same breath as Scott Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know. It's freaking weird. And it's just like, really, really, like, we're that important.
The subcultures and folkways of the internet had become powerful enough that the entire election apparatus was obliged to attend to and dissect them. In January, the Republican consultant Rick Wilson...
Oh my god. The entire, was obliged to pay attention to and dissect them?
You don't just laugh and then move on. You have to...
That was your first fucking mistake. Is that you were like, oh my god, we must get to the bottom of this. What does this mean?
Diabolical.
And what does it mean? It must have some hidden, like, no, it's just a fucking joke they're trying to get a rise out of you, and you gave them a rise, and then you took it seriously, and then you had to investigate, and then you had to find out that, the OK hand sign is actually a W and a P for white power, and, and all of this shit, and you fell for it. And because you were looking for something that isn't there, it's just for the fucking keks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Which are not real currency. Except now.
Actually,
now you're making them into real currency.
I think it is. I think it's real currency.
What is currency? Currency is just an agreement.
Yeah.
Currency is an agreement between two people that this piece of paper is worth something, right? And so essentially, which is why Confederate money isn't worth anything, right? It's not worth anything because everybody agreed that it wasn't worth anything. So when the other side decided that these retarded memes, and they are retarded, they're funny, but they're retarded and they're ridiculous. When they decided that these memes actually had currency, right? That was when they actually took on value.
Hi, my name is Allison Tiemann, and I'm the founder and creator of Honey Badger Radio. You might not be aware, but Honey Badger Radio's free podcast content is just a small part of what we offer. If you want to become a supporter of Honey Badger Radio, we offer a number of additional perks. Patron-only after shows where you can talk to the Badgers, a Discord server with a lively community of like-minded gender enthusiasts, and our very own Minecraft server. Each of these options is available via subscription on our Patreon page. Today, I'd like to feature our Minecraft server. Here are some testimonials from satisfied Badger gamers. Sojimen5 says, I used to be a deranged sociopath, but look at me now, a deranged sociopath in a Minecraft server. Mick123Mick says that he enjoys the Badger Minecraft server because he, quote-unquote, runs it, smiley face with squeezy eyes. French Honey Badger adds that he loves the Minecraft server because it's in Mick123Mick's bedroom. To which Libertas S. Immoralitas responds with a happy face of approval. Peter B, apparently the only one who fucking understands what a testimonial is, responds with, "It's fun. Doesn't have silly baby rules that strip challenge. There are cool people on it doing cool things, and most importantly, leaving you be if you aren't being a shithead." I mean, the first thing I did when I got on was forged out into the untamed wilderness and started a hole in the ground with a workbench and a jungle biome. Had one curious person come to check to make sure I wasn't doing anything dumb, presumably, and then he left me to my work. I do owe someone some bread and carrots, though. Taking from Peter B's actually knowing what a fucking testimonial is lead, Ufermensch offers, "I like seeing what other people build, and I like people seeing what I build." Peter B adds, "Exhibitionism, dirt, exploding penis, green penis monsters." Ulfermensch replies, "Creepers confirmed, heralds of Kek." Asian responds, "Oh, one of my favorite things about the server is that all of the conversations quickly degenerate into nothing but penis jokes." To which Sojamen5 says, "And then the entire world penis." And then Mick123 Mick says, "Oh yeah, my favorite thing about the server is the giant statue." Then it all degenerates into profound silliness from there. From what I've gleaned, the best parts of the Minecraft server is the following: being left alone if you're not being a shithead, free bread, but not circuses, server fetishism, penis jokes, and general silliness. There you have it, folks. Testimonials from satisfied Badger Minecrafters. Once again, you can take part by going to our Patreon page and choosing the Minecraft subscription level. Be sure to set the number of times you want to support to 1. 1! From there, you'll receive an email that will give you access to our Discord server and the launching off point for our Minecraft gaming group. And the absolute best part of our server, the real reason why you need to get your ass on it, the ideologues who do not brook dissent, do not allow questioning, do not allow any deviation from the social consensus. They may chase you from media platform to media platform, to community to meme, silencing you, ostracizing you, judging you. But good luck to them if they chase you into the Badger Cave. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. Nobody knows what a fucking testimonial is.